what will happen. We are going to take a look at this set of past year PSLE questions on geometry. This is set number 2. This series of questions, I have selected them from topics that are from things like primary 3, primary 4. This particular question is just on recognizing right angles. So it's something you learn from primary 3 and 4. And then you have perpendicular and parallel lines. This is a topic also at primary 3 and primary 4. It's just that at primary 4 and 5 you see more complex figures. But parallel and perpendicular concept is something you learn when we are younger. So technically speaking, this set of PSLE questions from geometry 2 is a clear set. Now, you do not have the paper with you now, so you really need to focus. I will return you the paper the moment I finish, and the screen will be blank for you to do your corrections. Okay? Ready? Now, I don't know how many times I need to emphasize this, but I think I will just have to keep saying it until everybody practices it. That is, number 1, your annotations, number 2, using your highlighter. If you read the question, in the figure, this is the whole figure, PCE is an equilateral triangle. There's very few of you who circle that important word of equilateral triangle. When we were revising geometry, many of us felt that equilateral triangle is one of the easiest shapes to remember because it means all sides are the same. Yes, and because all sides are the same, it is not difficult to remember that because all sides are the same, all angles are the same, every part of it is 60 degrees. Every corner is a 60 degree. Then the next part says ABCD is a trapezium with AD parallel to BC. It's helpful here because the arrow symbol is drawn for you also. So this is the angle you're supposed to find, angle BABE, question mark. Now, there's a set of parallel lines here, so the property that we are using to solve is sum of angles between a set of parallel lines. That's correct. So that is 180 degrees minus 68 degrees. To find this part here, then you minus 60 again, because these two corner angles make up the whole corner. Then you'll get your answer. Okay, next up, question 2. It's a question on looking at the 6 angles marked out. So 6 of them, how many are larger than a right angle? That means you are looking for what type of angle? Obtuse than cube. So right angle. Honestly, even if you say you forget or you cannot visualize, take out your ruler and where can you find the right angle? All 4 corners of the ruler. Right? So I can easily put my set square on my ruler, the right angle corner to check. If the angle turn is greater than my corner of the ruler, it will mean that it is larger than a right angle, otherwise known as obtuse. So you will check with the corner of your ruler or set square, you'll be able to identify that this one, this and this. These are the 4 corners that are larger, 4 angles that are larger than the right angle. So there's 4 of them. Okay, next question. Question 3. In the figure below, ABC is a straight line. Yeah, so this question isn't complicated. There's only one clue given, is a straight line. So it's a straight line property. Angle K is a part on the line. Yeah, so you just take 180 minus 112 and minus 40. There are some of you who refuse to underline or highlight anything, and you just put in 360 minus minus. I'm like, what's 360? And that's at the point. There are some of you that throughout the whole paper, you just put 360, 360, 360. I say that you are not thinking at all. Everything you try to just use 360, that is not helpful at all. Yes, this can be 360, but that will be this point at B. And then we have to subtract the other side of the pink color line as well. So you just use 180 to subtract the two parts. Okay, 2 more to go. For this question, you answer questions 21 and 22. You realize that the two properties, parallel and perpendicular. If you remember how to use your set square, you will be using the technique of lining the set square and ruler to check for parallel lines. But if you really struggle, I cannot remember how to use set square and ruler, then there's the other trick that I taught you. Look at the number of squares the lines are cutting through. Basically, parallel has 2 L's here. It looks like 11. So the goal is to try to look for 11. So it's actually these 2 lines here. PS and QR. Now here's the trick. The line should cut through the squares in similar ways. So let me show you how it cuts similarly, okay? You see this particular line, it cuts through the rectangle here. 2 rectangles and the diagonal line cuts through. 2 rectangles and the diagonal line cuts through. You see it happening on the same on PS, along PS. Whereas you realize you check. For this one PT, it only cuts through 1 square at this corner. So it's different. I do not know what is easier for you. Either this method, that is, check out the lines, the squares and the rectangles that the diagonal lines are coming through, or practicing using the set square and ruler. You got to decide. The only clear thing that I see from marking your classwork is that those of you who don't use a highlighter, who just stare at the question and write some letters into the answer, you are unlikely to get it correct. You just ask your eyes to give me an answer, then you put in an letter. You are quite unlikely to get a correct answer, unless you really train your eyes well enough to see and recognize the lines. That's why I have been urging you to use a highlighter, because a highlighter picks out lines and help your eyes to focus better. So you decide. It's not a complicated question, it's 1 mark. Take it. Either you go back and practice using your set square and ruler, the gliding, the parallel lines. The video of how to use the set square and ruler is online. YouTube channel is also on SLS. You just have to go and get search parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, then perpendicular is about the right angle. Okay, I can just use my ruler to check which two lines cut through each other, forming a perfect corner of 90 degrees. And it's here. And you can see the diagonal lines cut through the squares perfectly. So this is the right angle. So the answer for this Q, R, and T, S. And the answer for this can be P, T, and S, or TS, or TR. Okay, the last one. The last one is angles at the corner of a rectangle. This is a primary 4 question. Yeah, it's really not that challenging. The corner of the rectangle is 90 degrees. You have the rectangle given to you. You have one part of the corner and you have another part of the corner. So to find angle TQS, you simply take 90 degrees minus 40 away, minus 15 away. Okay? So that's the 5 revision questions.